Hey guys, in this video, I want to tell you guys about what I'm buying, what I'm selling, and what my current portfolio is, but more importantly, why. What am I looking to DCA into, and what are my price targets for this? What are the specific crypto or narratives in generalized crypto I'm looking at buying for the next couple of weeks into months as we finish this year and go into quarter 1? Because if you haven't noticed, no one has a fucking clue what the market is doing or is going to be doing. So you got to set yourself up as well as you can for the few things that we know and what you believe, and have a strategy to fit that mold. So I want to go over some of those things today. I've had people ask me, what is my portfolio now? Have I sold fill in the blank crypto? The answer is no, I haven't sold jack shit, unless it was swing trades. So I'll go over my spot bags and ones I'm looking at for swing trades or leverage. And again, the main thing I want to do from this video is just get you guys to understand my train of thought, because nothing here is saying, hey, you guys should do what I do. No, in all reality, you probably should not do what I do, because at least not without understanding the why I do it and make sure it fits your goals, your beliefs, your interests, etc. So that's what I want to tackle today. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts below. If you have any questions, have anything else you want to add to the conversation, anything you want me to talk about in the near future. With that being said, let's move forward. All right. So recently, guys, I haven't bought anything aside from my weekly buys. I get a little bit of quant every week, but I haven't done any real big buys yet. But I am looking for it, right? Because I am still in the full belief that we're going to have, whether it's a rebound, hearing everyone shout out dead cat bounce, and I don't think anyone actually knows what it is. In short, pretty much the same thing of expecting a large rebound, and then everything goes to shit. But I think we're still going to have a good upward trajectory. I don't know if it's going to be small or it's going to be the full alt season, but I'm confident that at least the top 200 to 300 coins, the larger caps, not necessarily large at that point, but the more popular ones, the ones that are easier to find and get to, I really think they're still going to have a good burst. The small caps and beyond, not as confident on those. Memes probably a better chance of having a big narrative push than a lot of the other microcap narratives. My thoughts, my opinions. But I thought that it was important for me to get that out of the way first, so you understand a little bit more of my train of thought. Because I read your comments. I read all of them. And usually when there is a discrepancy of people disagreeing with me, is either, which one you're allowed to do, by the way, whenever the fuck you feel like it. It's either because we have different goals, which is usually the case, goals or interests, or there's presumptions made and not understanding why I made a decision. Like if I sold something for a small loss, like a 4% loss, and it's like, why'd you sell for a loss? Well, all that was from profits. I moved into this crypto, so I just took 4% less of a profit. And then I moved into this crypto that went up 8%, or I expect it to go up, blah, blah, blah. And so I want to try to push a little bit more about the why I do things, so that way you guys can make your own decisions. I want you to. So what have I bought? Nothing really, though I'm putting USDC in on the side frequently. So that way, if there's a bigger crash, because crypto can always go down more, guys, I will put some in. Or if things start really going up quick, I can get in with a little bit of a leverage or a swing trade. I like having funds on the side to jump in for those real quick moments. Because if I do buy on green candles, I don't frequently, but when I do, it's always going to be for a short burst swing trade. I'll get a quick 8 to 20%, get out and move into something else. The methods worked well for me. You just have to keep up with the charts a little bit more for that, set buy limits, sell limits, etc., so you don't have to be drilling over the computer the whole time. But moving on, my current portfolio. So again, I have not sold anything. I do plan to, if there's no good sign of altcoins in general bursting up by, I believe I've written down now for the third week of January, I'm going to sell everything I profited in, except for quant. by the second or third week of February, if we still have not seen any growth of looking like we're going to have this delayed alt season, that's when I'm going to de-risk and sell my micro caps, even if it's for a loss, move it into large caps that went down, that have high utility, either DCing into ones I already own or opening new positions of ones, possibilities here of XRP, Chainlink, VET, BitTensor, Tau, AVAX. There's plenty of them on the radar that I think are solid if they go down low enough. And the reason why I would do that is to de-risk. If I'm down on these micro caps and I don't want it to go all the way down to hell, I'll move into something that at least if it keeps going down, like the large caps I mentioned, and I end up getting stuck with them, so to speak, and round trip them, I much rather round trip things like XRP, AVAX, and BitTensor Tau than microcaps that are under 100 million market cap now, because it's only going to get worse. And those are the ones that are more likely to disintegrate and die overall. So contingency plan, backup plan. So I think I rambled enough. My current portfolio in this order, and I'm going to start putting it in the description because I've had a few people ask about what do I own? Have I bought this? Have I sold that? And so I'm just going to put it for now on in the descriptions, let you guys know. But as of now, my portfolio from highest to lowest with approximate allocations, I think it comes out to 100%. It had to pull from a couple different wallets and round. So if it's 101% or so, whatever. Quant at about 42%. I had H-bar at 20%, Aerodrome Finance at 15%, Assemble AI, ASM at 7%. I got a little bag of Solana at 6%, Foxy at 6%, Illuvium at 3%, and Turbo just over 1%. Now, this is actually more spot crypto than I usually like to hold on to. I generally like keeping it closer to 5 because of trying to keep up with all of them, and what's happening gets a little bit outrageous at times. Thankfully, the memes, there isn't too much to track with them, but I am kind of looking forward to being able to pull down a little bit. Now, I don't just blindly choose crypto that I like, because there are a lot of good crypto out there of various different narratives and market cap and on different ecosystems, like all on the Solana ecosystem, all on Sui, all on Ethereum, on base layer 2, on Linea, etc. And I like to try to diversify that out. I'm not a big fan of the maxi method. If you are, I hope it works for you. Really do. Just not what I do. I like keeping more of the larger caps, and I'm going to only be doing that more and more as discussed in my bear market strategy videos, which will be more of those, I'm sure. And just things that I plan on doing after I get rid of everything now to kind of evolve my investing method a little bit. But I always want to have more of the larger market caps, and I really push towards utility, not what it could be used for, but what actually is it. Because that comes in with a little bit of safety. I like having most of my funds in crypto that I'm confident is not going to go to zero. And you can kind of tell or bet pretty heavily the ones that won't, right? The top 100 probably won't. There has been times where they have, and that's usually from fraud or issues with the CEO. But I like keeping more of the large caps, but I will diversify and keep a couple of smaller ones. I really think it's important to diversify in narrative. I am mostly an RWA tokenization guy. It's the stuff that to me makes the most sense to hold long term, because it's what governments, banks, and most large corporations are going to be interested in. And that's where all the fucking money is. So those are the safety ones. I like going in there, which is why I like Aerodrome, or where I've been looking into Linea, and I've been looking into a couple other dexes that run, like Trader Joe on Avalanche, a couple that go through on Solana, and I'm going to keep my eye on those. Which leads me to another way that I touched on diversifying is your ecosystem. I don't recommend, for example, do as you will, your money, not my finances or my advice, but I will never put like everything onto the Solana ecosystem and only buy coins that run on Solana. Because if Solana goes to shit, or if something happens to where they get hacked or there's some fraud that goes in there, all of my crypto could get really punished for it. So I think it's a good idea when you can. I think this is the least important, but still important of the criteria I put out there, of make sure that there's a little bit on Ethereum or Solana or on XRP or on ones HBAR has been collecting a lot that runs on the Hedera network. Right? And just move those eggs in a couple more baskets in case shit happens, because eventually it will, and just hopefully not to you. But the best way to prepare is just to protect. So now what am I looking at DCAing into? So right now I've got some low ball numbers that they were getting close to hit for some of my crypto. And really it's the larger capped ones with utility. I kind of didn't even insinuate it, directly told you I'm more into. And since I'm looking at de-risking, I'm prepping for it. So I do have a buy limit set at $64 for quant. We got close and then blew right up past 100 and been floating there. I'm okay with that. But I kept the buy order in. I have a buy order set for HBAR if it drops down to 8 cents. I don't think it's going to get there. If we do, we're probably in the big bear market that's going to last 6 to 12 months. But my average is 6 cents. 8 cents, I'm okay with getting back into it, building that up a little bit more. Aerodrome, I've got a buy limit set at 45 cents. And if that bitch hits, I'm probably going to put all of that into either staking or liquidity pools, kind of depending on how the market and just general liquidity is at that point. And I do have a little bit of the higher risk one in there with Illuvium. If it hits $4.99, I'm dropping a decent amount into upping that bag as well. That's my Hail Mary play, right? Like, I do think Illuvium is going to have a big jump, but I don't know if that big jump is going to start when it's at $5 and jump 400x up to $25, or if it's going to slowly get up to about 20 and then have a big 400% jump. So the general strategy, since I do think it's going to have a big jump at some point, that's the micro cap I'm more willing to hold on to, just because it's a substantial game. It's risky, probably similar to throwing your money into a meme at this point, but that's what I'm willing to gamble on. So I've got DCAs for those: Quant, HBAR, Aerodrome, and Illuvium. Now I am keeping my eye on opening other spot bags. I am less likely to do this if the market starts to rejuvenate itself and start looking a little bit better. More likely to do this if we keep going downward. But I'm keeping my eye on maybe putting in a low ball DCA on Solana. But I'm also looking at XRP, opening up a small position there. AVAX has always had my attention. It's greatly underperformed, but the price always matters. I haven't set a number for that one yet, but I'm keeping my eye on it. And I just recently came across the render chart recently, and dear goddamn, I did not expect or did not know that render dropped almost down to $1.50. I had a position in that one a while ago, and for tax purposes, essentially, I sold it off. And I'm contemplating getting back in that one. I haven't researched in a while, so I don't actually know what's been happening into it the last 8-10 months or so. But I'm keeping an eye on that one too, because render has a strong possibility in my eyes to jump in or to jump up pretty well in the near future. So don't be surprised if I start talking about that one a little bit. And as well as Chainlink. That's another one that I don't have a number set in yet officially to jump in a position on, but I'm keeping my eye on that one as well. And these are crypto I'm confident, personally, me, you don't have to be, but that I'm confident is going to be around for a little while, and I like their utility. So guys, hopefully that answered some of your questions. Thank you for being here enough to have those questions and to keep up with what I'm doing and be curious. I really do appreciate it. I like interacting with you guys. And so if you've been here a few times, you get anything from this, please do press the like and subscribe buttons down below. Let me know your thoughts. I'll be here for the next one. Talk to you guys all again soon. Peace.